The world is slowly waking up. This is incredible news. In Canada, you have at least one province, such as Alberta. The Premier of Alberta, Danielle Smith, has taken action to protect minors, to protect children. You have the puberty blocker ban and gender affirming care ban against kids under the age of, I think, like 17 or 16, something like that. As an adult, do whatever you want, but you have rules and regulations to protect kids for a reason. That's why you don't see 10-year-olds driving vehicles, buying alcohol, buying tobacco, gambling, and things like that. So it's very, very bizarre that this is somehow a controversial topic. And now you're seeing this even extend above and beyond Canada into the UK, I believe, and Elon Musk has some comments to make. For some reason, Justin Trudeau has a really big issue with protecting minors. It's very bizarre. Welcome back to another video, everybody. We're jumping off the deep end today. We're talking about gender and all that great stuff. And before we get into it, I do want to encourage everyone to smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't yet already. We're on route to 400,000 subscribers, which is absolutely incredible. And I want to thank you all. As you can see, I've got my silver play button temporarily leaning up against my kid's playpen. And no, I don't keep it there when my child is in the playpen. She's just not in there right now. If you don't want to subscribe because you want to support me, at least consider doing that, because the government sure as hell doesn't want you to. And we have a new sponsor for today's video. We have Black Force Supplements, which is, I'm so glad that they're sponsoring today's video, because we're talking about the feminization of men and how men are becoming weaker. We've got, estrogen that's pumped into like all our foods, our plastics and all this stuff, and it's making men super weak. Oh my God. And don't worry, folks, I have a solution. Black Force Supplements has offered a buy two, get one free for this supplement, turkesterone and Tongat Ali. Oh yeah, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And I've got some fun things about this. It increases testosterone. It increases your strength. It increases lean muscle mass, improves recovery, decreases stress, and helps with fat loss. And I'm taking my own personal health to a new level. Right here in my basement, I actually am working on a gym, so I don't have to go out of the house to do that. I can just do that right here. And a fun fact about this supplement, it actually helps with libido. At least everyone knows that I've had sex twice in my life, because my wife is pregnant and we're due in July, and it is a boy. I'm so happy to announce, we just found out the gender the other day. It's a boy. We have a girl and a boy, and the government will not brainwash my kids to think anything other than that. So I'm very happy that Black Force Supplements is sponsoring today's video. And if you want your man, or if you're a man watching this and you want to remain a man and increase your testosterones, check this out. The link is down in the description or the pinned comment below. Again, it is buy two, get one free. And you're going to see why this is so important, because there's an attack against our culture right now. And it's very concerning. So without further ado, thank you, Black Force Supplements, for sponsoring this video. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of this video. POV criticizes Trudeau, feds on Alberta's planned transgender rules. Here we go.
Political battle lines over gender identity are being drawn in the wake of Alberta's proposed changes to transgender policies. After being asked for reaction for days, Conservative leader Pierre POV finally sided with Alberta Premier Danielle Smith, saying he's against puberty blockers for those under the age of 18.
Just to be clear, you said yes, only adults should take puberty blockers?
I think we should protect children. Let them make adult decisions when they become adults.
So you do support age restrictions? You are against puberty blockers for kids under the age of 18. Is that
yes.
clear?
POV also accused Prime Minister Justin Trudeau of using the provincial policy as a wedge issue to distract from his own economic record. As for the Prime Minister, he had this to say in response to POV.
What Mr. POV and Ms. Smith are proposing is to take away the rights of parents and their kids to make the right choices for them with their doctors.
Bro, kids don't know what they're doing. There's like viral videos that have circulated where a father offers the last Oreo in the house or $10,000 cash to the child, like his own kid. And the kid obviously goes after the Oreo because the kid doesn't understand the value of $10,000, especially in today's economy. It's very weird, man, that you have politicians that are just trying to give kids like full rights over everything. If that's the case, Justin Trudeau, why don't you allow kids to drive? Why don't you allow kids to buy tobacco, buy alcohol, because it's wrong. Kids need guidance until they're fully developed in order to make especially life-altering decisions. And all of this backlash here in Canada is coming from Danielle Smith, who recently announced, the ban, like I said in the intro of the video, on puberty blockers and gender-affirming surgeries and things like that for minors. I think it's great to have rules and regulations to protect the youth. Absolutely.
Spoken passionately about bodily autonomy, about depoliticizing the conversation around trans and non-binary children, and, as in your own words, not using them as a political football. In November, you made clear you wanted to strike a balance on parental rights. The parental rights policies here are more aggressive than any other province, and the restrictions around hormones and puberty blockers are unprecedented in Canada. So what changed that made you take this approach?
Well, we know that we have to preserve the rights of kids to be able to make decisions as adults. I think that we've seen in other jurisdictions, I believe in June of last year, New Brunswick made policy changes. In the fall, Saskatchewan made policy changes. We've been watching internationally as the UK has made policy changes, as well as Denmark, Norway, Finland, Sweden. I mean, this has been an ongoing conversation over the last number of years. We've been monitoring it very closely, and we wanted to make sure that we struck the right balance so that kids are not making irreversible decisions when they may not be mature enough to make those decisions. We want to make sure that those adult decisions are made as adults.
I'm not sure what the balance.
I don't see how that is controversial at all. It started with Alberta, and you have the premier right here, Danielle Smith, who started this. Then you have federally Pierre Poilievre, the leader of the Conservative Party, who backs it. Justin Trudeau attacks him, and now we're going to get into it in a moment. The UK is actually cracking down on this as well, which is phenomenal. And hopefully, you're going to see other provinces in Canada and other countries around the world start to take this a little bit more seriously.
Balances. Can you be more specific?
Well, when you begin hormone therapy, there are health consequences associated with that. It is a decision that impacts your life, higher risk of osteoporosis, so there's a need to have bone density tests. There's higher incidence of heart problems, so there's a need to have that monitored. Stepping on to the next stage, when there's bottom surgery and top surgery, that of course has implications for sex and for fertility. And so when we start down this pathway, we want to make sure that kids know the consequences that it's going to have on their life, and that they're mature enough to be able to make those decisions and live with the consequences. And they're adult decisions, so we want to make sure that certain decisions are made as adults.
They are adult decisions, and that's why we definitely need to have these rules and regulations in place to protect kids. And it's just very weird that there's an attack on men being masculine nowadays. I mean, it's weird. Like, if you work out, if you're just super jacked like I am right here, oh my God, look at that, and more gains to follow. It's like, hey man, you're a crazy person because you work out, you eat healthy, you watch what you eat. You get your supplements from Black Forest Supplements. It's very bizarre. And women now have to be more butch, and they can't just be feminine women who maybe want the trad wife lifestyle, right? Stay-at-home mom or whatever it is. It's very bizarre, man. Very, very, very bizarre. Let's take a look at what Pierre Poilievre has to say about the matter as well.
Trudeau has not given a single example of any of the policies that Premier Smith has brought forward that he individually disagrees with, because he doesn't want to be specific about it. And that's because he and you want to peddle in disinformation in order to demonize Premier Smith and parents.
All right, the power panel is with me on this.
That's exactly right. And I'm concerned, man. Like I said, I have a 1.5-year-old who's on the verge of turning 2 quite soon. And I have another child on the way who we just found out, like I said, is a boy. And I'm very concerned about the world. And I'm concerned about all this, the pronouns and stuff. And like when I went to school, and I can't believe I'm about to sound like a boomer, but back in my day, you know what I'm saying? I'm now that guy, right? I've joined that crew. Back in my day, we didn't learn that in school. That wasn't taught. That wasn't pushed. We weren't indoctrinated and yada, yada, yada. So it's concerning, because now I have to keep a super close eye on the curriculums when my kids eventually go to school. Very, very bizarre. Now, I know a lot of people are very much pro homeschooling, and that might actually have to be taken very seriously, because who knows what kind of indoctrination is going to be happening here in Canada in the coming years, more so than now. Then you get Jordan Peterson that says, "Excuse me, Justin Trudeau, I'm a psychologist. Despite the best efforts of your ideological allies, I told your idiot senators in 2016 that your idiot virtual signaling bill C-16 would cause psychogenic epidemic among young women. Guess what happened? Now I'm telling you something else. The Brits have woken up and banned puberty blockers for kids. I think this is just recently, as they should have. But the butchers are still operating in Canada. Every day this continues is on you. You're culpable in child mutilation and sterilization. If it was up to me, you'd be tried for it, along with other butchers and enablers. You and your toxic compassion, for shame, Canada." This post by Jordan Peterson has 15.2 million views. That is absolutely incredible. Part of the reason why I got such a big push is because Elon Musk said Britain has actually looked at the data, which is why they're shutting down puberty blockers for kids. They do far more harm than good. And you have in the comments a lot of support, which is incredible. And that's why, I mean, I don't think anybody inherently has an issue with adults that want to change their gender and go through that. Like, you do you, boo. That doesn't bother me. But it becomes worrisome when they're pushing it on kids, because kids are very impressionable. You have kids that scroll TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, whatever it is, and they see these trads, these viral trads of people changing their genders and becoming popular as kids, and kids just, they want to have what's popular. They want to naturally gravitate towards what is popular. And this isn't like, I'm not saying that this is the cause for kids that get brainwashed and indoctrinated into this type of ideology, but it definitely, I think, just using common sense, seems like it would be a cause, maybe not the majority cause, but it's very concerning. Elon Musk also shared this on X, saying puberty blockers, aka sterilization drugs, will no longer be prescribed to children in Britain due to potentially severe negative effects. He's sharing a clip from Sky News. This has 36.7 million views. Even Gays Against Groomers, the official account with 500,000 followers, said, "The world is waking up. Transing kids is the greatest medical abuse scandal in history. We will end this nightmare." So before I play the video, I'd love to know what you guys think down below in the comments. Do you agree with Britain's decision to ban this, or do you think that this should continue and children should be able to have puberty blockers? Love to know what you guys think down below in the comments.
Let's just bring you a bit of breaking news, which may be of interest to some of you. It's about puberty blockers. Now, these are drugs that are used to delay the changes of puberty in transgender youngsters. In terms of how they are prescribed by the NHS, there has been a lot of controversy over the last few years about this. At the moment, they are only prescribed to children attending gender identity services as part of clinical research, and they are not routinely offered to children at gender identity clinics, but they are still offered. Well, the government, NHS England, has just confirmed that children will no longer be prescribed puberty blockers at gender identity clinics. This is coming from NHS England. It just broke in the last few moments.
Wow. So I'd like to know, in additionally in the comments, what country are you from, and would you like to see this type of ban happen in your country? Because it's great that this has happened in Alberta here in Canada, but I think a lot of people are waiting for this to happen across Canada, across the United States, and across other countries. So please let me know down in the comments where in the world you are viewing from, and if it's in Canada, what province you're from, and if you actually want to see a kind of nationwide ban for this to be taken a little bit more seriously, because like I said, it's very concerning. Next up, we have Pierre Poilievre. This is the most based speech he's given, or I guess press conference. This is where he finally comes out and agrees with Danielle Smith about the puberty blocker ban. This is incredible.
Do you support age restrictions for puberty blockers and hormone therapies for trans kids?
I think that Justin Trudeau is trying to divide and distract Canadians by spreading disinformation about the decisions that premiers and parents are making.
I want to know your
What do you think? What do you think?
I want to know your position.
What do you think?
Party policy. It's your own party policy. A party
I think we
convention.
should protect the rights of parents to make their own
What does
decisions
it mean?
with regards to their children. And I believe that adults should have the freedom to make any decision they want about their bodies.
But mine
How about
is.
children?
Ban
I think-
surgeries and medical interventions for minors, as your own party members suggested.
Medical
sir.
interventions like what?
That is the language that your party
What medical
used.
interventions?
Well, you would have to ask your party members.
What medical
such
interventions?
such as puberty blockers and hormone
For
replacement
minors?
therapy. Yeah.
Yes.
Irreversible? You're talking about
I
irreversible?
want
I would like to understand
Do
your
you
I just want to be
agree
clear.
with
No, I want to be clear. I just want to be
blockers
clear.
for minors?
Puberty blockers for minors?
Do you agree with that?
Do you agree with that?
I think that we should protect children
What
and their
does that
ability
mean?
to make adult decisions when they're adults.
So
And
you
that
think
would affect-
only
I
adults,
think-
only adults should make, you said yes, just to be clear, you said yes, only adults should take puberty blockers?
I think we should protect children, let them make adult decisions when they become adults.
So that
So
means
you do
you
support age
so that means
restrictions?
you are against puberty blockers for kids under the age of 18. Is that
Yes.
unclear? Okay. What about, can I ask you about, in Alberta?
By the way, I just want to make another comment on this. Justin Trudeau is again puffing out his chest, trying to divide Canadians and attack parents who are trying to protect their kids. He will, in the end, back down on this, just like he had to back down on his firearms policy, just like he had to back down on bringing in medical assistance and dying for people suffering from mental illness. Just like he's backing down again and again and again, he will back down on this because he is not interested in protecting kids. He's interested in using this as a divisive wedge to distract from doubling housing costs and quadrupling carbon taxes on our people.
But for you, so you're against puberty blockers for kids under the age of
Yes.
18?
Mr.
Hey, what about opting in?
Yes, I am.
What about parents in Alberta having to opt in for sex ed? Where do you stand
Every
on that?
lesson.
No, that's a decision for the province.
No, but what do you think?
Incredible that you have at the federal level here in Canada, Pierre POV, who actually just recently stood up to that. And this is going to be kind of a make or break deal, because I think that there are some people, probably in the thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people, that support this decision of Pierre POV to block these types of services for children, right? Puberty blockers and medical, people call it sterilization, medical altercations being done to minors, right? And some of those people, hundreds of thousands of people that I'm referring to, could even be Liberal and NDP supporters here in Canada. And this is going to be a massive divisive issue. Are you for this happening to kids of puberty blockers for minors, or are you against it? That's enough for people to literally choose which party to vote for. And then there's also, you know, the additional, like, hey, do you want to pay more taxes or less taxes? So there's a lot of really very divisive things apparently that are happening in Canada, but nonetheless, it seems like we're headed in the right direction so long as we stay on course. And so that's where we're going to end today's video, folks. I'd love to know what you guys think down below in the comments. And I do want to thank one last time Black Forest Supplements for sponsoring today's video. Don't forget to visit the link down in the description or the pinned comment below for buying 2, getting 1 free. Not much of anything is free these days, but nonetheless, they have provided a very generous offer. Thank you, everybody, for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.